what happens at home in our base. But what we're going to see in this game is not only phenomenal economy management that gets me heated, right? I love it. But also a phenomenal use of strategy. And this is the delightful thing that happens when you begin trying to, again, impose arbitrary structure on the problem of how do you win this matchup. And something magnificent happens, right? You discover a solution to a previous problem. What we're going to see is a Baneling bust occur. So we're actually going to watch this game quite closely. I'll even do a little bit of reveal for you. That's right. It's 9 minutes and 55 seconds. Very short game that we're going to be watching. We see I Am Your King getting a very early spawning pool. All right, this is a little too slow, so we're going to speed it up. Captain Stabity is going to be building a barracks early on. He's going to be getting himself a gas geyser in a moment. There it is, going down. Fantastico, there is another supply depot going down. A little bumpy at the start, but we're going to see some absolute brilliance. Here is the orbital command coming up, and a marine. Guys going into gas, scout coming out. Things seem pretty reasonable. In Camp Zerg, we're seeing now a spawning pool is done. A queen's coming out. We haven't seen any Zergling speed quite yet. There's a barracks going down, and another refinery. This is seeming to be a little bit of an unusual game. Generally, we don't see a second refinery quite this early if we're going 2 racks. We might see it this early if we're doing some kind of tech, but generally not quite like this. And there Captain Stabity sneaks on in. Does he see that there is the speed going down? I don't know. I don't really care so much. And here's a Ghost Academy going down now. When did the Ghost Academy do it? When did the Ghost Academy do it? I got distracted by Captain Stabity. Anytime I finish a sentence in a really stupid way, it almost certainly means that something immediately distracted me, and my mouth was like, don't worry, Sean, I'll handle this. And I'm like, thanks a lot, mouth. It looks like he just threw it down at kind of a haphazard time. Didn't really seem ultra specific, but it was basically a when I could afford it type deal. And a little bit longer. Perhaps was spending some time microing the SCV. The APM's fairly low, which makes this game all the more exciting to me because we're going to see Captain Stabity do some really great stuff. Here's the tech lab going down. Still just making Marines. Nothing out of the ordinary, but the tech lab has pretty nice timing. Lining up with that Ghost Academy, we see a Ghost popping out right away. Marines continuing to be made. SCVs continuing to be made. And now we have a supply depot going down. Notice not forgetting any supply depots. Ghost costs 2 food, by the way. For any of you who did not know, if you don't believe me, look at this. I'm removing the overlay. There it is, 2 food. So you have to make certain that you end up with an appropriate number of depots. You would never want to get supply blocked. And look at this. Right when this Ghost finishes, bam! I just have enough gas for another Ghost. I will actually point this out to you because this is the sort of thing I mean in terms of be sensitive to your own economy. This is an example of a very, very nicely timed build. See, when this Ghost got started, we were down to 27 gas, and upon spending no gas doing anything else, no gas doing anything else at all, and then bam, right when that Ghost is done, we can start another one with just enough gas. So hey, 2 geysers can support 1 barracks doing non-stop Ghost production. That is a useful fact. That is a useful fact. I did not know this until this exact moment doing the daily, because we imposed that shape and we ended up discovering some juicy nugget that we can use whenever we're playing in a future game. And we're seeing nothing difficult come out of Captain Stabity. He's not doing any sort of weird stuttering with his production. We are seeing a Baneling bust come up from I Am Your King, sending tons of Zerglings. I'm sure you guys have lost to this a lot. But look at the extremely cool thing that ends up going down. Oh yeah, hey, so Captain Stabity ended up noticing, goodness, I have enough money to build another barracks, and therefore I will build another barracks. Look at the amazingness that happens here. This is Ghosts going to use to solve a problem. This is why this is my favorite game. Look, here come the Banelings. Snipe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yup. Didn't even get close to breaking that. How many of you have done those stupid wall-offs where you have a depot, a barracks, a depot, and behind the first depot is a factory, and behind the other depot is a barracks that you don't even really want to use at any point in the game, but that you kind of have to build because you know you're going to get Baneling burst? So you build that, and then you have bunkers behind that, and then another little funky place starport just in case he breaks down 3 freaking layers of freaking buildings. No, you just have ghosts. Done. Easy. How cool is that? And this is something that pops out of a lot of funky, unorthodox builds where things that were standard, obnoxious, successful techniques are suddenly just swept off the table like nothing. If you think about it, if right when StarCraft 2 came out, people were enamored with the ghosts and made a ton of those instead of, for instance, being enamored with the medevac, then all of a sudden you might see people never Baneling busting. Baneling bust might be a strategy that just stayed under the woodwork, never came out. But because no one really played with the ghosts, Baneling busting became a pretty standard, cheesy strategy to win a fast game. But now we are seeing the wonderful, magical truth that is ghosts just ripping apart the Baneling bust. Now what does I Am Your King do? He's in a rough spot, so he's going to try to continue to press as hard as he can. But no good use is going to end up coming out of it. We're going to speed things right along, speeding things right along. And yeah, look at this. Look at this amazing snipe ability that is going to pop out. Looks like we're now getting Cloak, and as we can see, by getting Cloak, it ate into our ability to produce ghosts, because we can really only produce 1 ghost at a time. So here's going to come the second attempted bust. It looks like we're going to get 1. We're going to get some more, but we ended up sniping them a little bit too close, so the Zerglings will bust in. But my gosh, the C10 canister rifles from the ghosts rip through Zerglings so easily. Holy crap, Zerglings are so easy to deal with. Isn't that just wonderful? Wasn't Shay a beauty? Wasn't that just a little beautiful thing? And now, amazingly, despite doing 3 barracks production, we still have enough money to be able to build ourselves a command center. And in this beautifully lined up, nicely timed economy situation we find ourselves in, I can clearly say I did not know you could go Ghost Marines so effectively, so easily. We don't have any upgrades for the Marines at all. The Ghosts are pretty much unleashing all the hurt that we really need. And just delightful, painful hurting going on the Zerg. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. And this is one thing that I really, really, really would like to see more of, is people experimenting with Ghosts, discovering things that were just not a problem. Or that are just not a problem anymore, that used to be huge problems. And we're going to see the Terran player end up winning the game shortly thereafter. Another thing I want to point out is this great Terran vs. Terran game that happened on... It was on Xel'Naga Caverns. I think that this was the game. Yeah, I think this was the one. We're going to again see some very, very clever ghost usage that I like quite a bit. Quite a bit. Advancing forward, this is Boatman. He'll be our ghosting player. We now see Wooden Spider. Good luck, have fun. We're going to see a ton of bumps happen in Boatman's play. And it's really important that we start to identify all these bumps, because you want to make sure that you do this. Because again, this is one of those things that arises from giving shape to your play. By imposing this arbitrary constraint, I will make lots and lots and lots of ghosts, and that's just what I am going to do. So let's make sure that we identify all the bumps that we can. So that way, Boatman can go back to doing this build that he's going to have a good amount of success with, but without all the obnoxiousness that ends up happening. From the player in the bottom left, Wooden Spider, we're going to see that echoic style of Blue Flame Hellions plus air. And Boatman's going to be going largely infantry. So we're now seeing, looks like 1 Marine and a Tech Lab go down, building a supply depot as a nice little spotter, completely letting that SCV go. How embarrassing, Boatman. Shame, shame, shame on you. And then we're going to see some Marauder and Concussive Shell go down, and another barracks. Oh, okay, so Boatman is just going for a pretty typical 2 barracks play. This barracks could be a lot earlier. Like, a lot earlier. You can actually go supply depot, barracks, command center, barracks, Tech Lab, supply depot. You can honestly always, always, always do that. You have to have really, really good timing, and you can't scout too early, or you're like 35 minerals short. But still, pretty good. Let's see. Hey, look at that Marauder pop out right on time. Hey, look at that supply depot popping out basically right on time. 2 Tech Labs end up going down from Boatman. Is that right or wrong? Well, we're actually going to see it gets pretty hurtful in a moment. Nothing but Marauders going down. It looks like it is a 2 barracks Marauder expand. Engineering Bay going down. Ghost Academy going down. We have this SCV that kind of marched its way down here early, but couldn't really do so much. Now, anytime you end up kind of bouncing between Marines and Marauders, in terms of production, you should say, did I really need the second tech lab? Couldn't I just have gone non-stop Marauders here and non-stop Marines here, and that would have been easier? And the answer is yes. Yes, it would have been. So, hey, look, we're making Marines now. We really didn't seem to need this second tech lab. We could have saved ourselves a little bit of money. We now have our Mobius reactor getting started. We're starting to really, truly see, yeah, we just did not have any real purpose for this tech lab. So that is what I would identify as a little bit of a bump. So we're going to see, hopefully, a ghost get made. Oh, no, it looks like maybe we're favoring the command center early. It looks like we're not doing anything. Boatman! Boatman! There we go. Now finally throwing down the command center. Now, one thing I will throw out there. A lot of times people will say something like, I want to use timings, but it seems like I can't use timings from my opponent if he's not good. This might seem like a tangent, but we're still going to go down this path because it's actually very key. So I would say something like, if at the 6-minute mark I don't see any warp gate units, I know that he did not go for an ultra-fast warp gate, that he's probably going for a more standard warp gate, so he's probably having a stronger economy and fewer units. That's the way that the timing would be for like a really high-level Grandmaster player. And someone might say, but I'm a silver-level player, and sometimes people don't even start their warp gates until like the 5-minute mark, and then they